This coming Friday at 12 EST, Root of Nightmares officially goes live, and if you guys go in with the wrong setup, you're not going to have a good time. Since last season, by far the biggest change in the game's meta has been the mod ecosystem, essentially changing every single build that has ever existed. So in this video, I'm going to be going over 10 of the absolute best mods, each of which I will be using at some point or another during the raid race. Certain mods are going to be used for generating ammo for your weapons and teammates. Other mods will be needed for getting the most out of your basic builds. Keeping you alive during contest mode will be the focus of other mods. Obviously, we're going to have some OP mods to drastically boost your damage, and by combining these in the right order, as I showed off in one of yesterday's video, you'll be able to break the game. I'm pretty serious in making this video that these mods are incredibly good. A lot of people have been saying the mod system isn't as good as the old one, and that might be somewhat true, but that doesn't mean that the mods we have aren't insanely strong. If you guys like this video, make sure to like and sub, it helps. Okay, starting off easy with mod number 1, we have SIPHON mods. I won't go too in depth with these because there isn't too much to cover and no need to waste time. These exist for all 6 affinities in the game. That's Kinetic, Arc, Solar, Stasis Strand, and Void, plus Harmonic Siphon, which only works if your weapon matches your subclass. These generate orbs of power on rapid kills with weapons that match the affinity of the siphon you're running, and rapid kills really is just going to be 2 kills in quick succession. So basically, whatever add clear weapon you have on, you should probably just run a siphon mod to go with it so you can generate orbs. This is one of the best ways to make orbs of power in an orb of power meta, so make sure to have this on if you guys have the room. Second is going to be the mod Firepower. Very simply, this is just like a siphon mod, but instead of weapon kills, it requires a single grenade kill to instead make that orb. If you're running Warlock, chances are you are on a build with high grenade uptime, and I would imagine most Titans and Hunters will predominantly be on Void with how strong Devour is, which means they too will have good grenade uptime. Later in the video, I'm going to be going over why you might want to save your helmet mod slots for some stronger mods, so this is going to be a nice alternative to still be able to generate orbs for your builds without needing a siphon mod, which we already covered. On your boots, the mod Recuperation is super strong right now. This mod is pretty equivalent to getting Cure to proc on the Solar subclass, which is to say grabbing an Orb of Power is going to give you a substantial chunk of health straight back. Obviously, if you are on Void, just having Devour to proc on Orb pickup is way stronger, but for non-Void subclasses, you can think of this as a Dollar Tree version of Devour, where you don't get your full health back, but it still helps a ton. There are going to be orbs everywhere in raid content. I will be running Solar Warlock, so I will 100% make sure I have this mod on, if not multiple copies. It might sound a bit redundant, but the more healing you have on a build, the better, so that you can focus on more important things like figuring out mechanics rather than just staying alive. Moving down the list, we're now starting to get into some extremely important mods to have ready to go, starting with Weapon Surges at mod number 4. Just like Siphon mods, there are versions of surges for every affinity type, however there is not a harmonic surge. Running multiple copies of these mods increases your weapon damage for that weapon element only. At 1 copy, you're going to get a 10% damage increase, 2 copies is 17%, and 3 copies is going to be 22%. You can even mix and match these for different percentage boosts if you end up running multiple weapon types for damage, and this does stack with both a buff and a debuff like Well of Radiance and Tether, making it essential for day 1. Surge mods will require armor charge stacks, but each stack you have gives 10 full seconds of the damage boost. So simply standing in a Well of Radiance and collecting those 3 orbs it generates is more than enough time for a full damage phase. This is a massive increase in weapon damage for basically free. Most teams are also going to struggle to hit damage as is during contest mode, so this might be the single most important mod in all of Destiny. Number 5 on this list is Ashes to Assets. I don't consider this more important than something like Surges, but this mod is a great filler mod for your helmet. I just put out a Solar Warlock and a Void Hunter build, both, which use Ashes to Assets for nearly 100% super uptime. By getting grenade kills with these mods on, you get an increased amount of super energy back on kill, and this energy should scale with killing higher tier adds. Solar Warlocks are probably the best class to have this on. Combining this with something like Firepower for more orbs and Starfire Protocol gives insane super uptime. Just in the 30 seconds that your Well of Radiance is active, with enough adds around, you can get your well straight back before the first one ends. If you have the extra slots, 100% run this mod, it's extremely useful. We do have 10 total mods on this list, but 6 and 7 are a mod combination that is so strong, I personally think it shouldn't be in the game. So up next, we have Heavy Ammo Finder and Heavy Ammo Scouts. I went over exactly how these work in full detail in a previous video, but the simple way you want to be running this is with 1 Heavy Ammo Finder on, and then 2 Heavy Ammo Scouts. Scouts are going to increase the heavy ammo that your finder bricks give your teammates, so with a full team running this setup, it gets pretty out of hand with the amount of heavy bricks everybody gets. You could also always just have your main 2 to 3 players who are ad clearing run this, and it should be just as effective. If this isn't nerfed, I will more than likely be running this the entire raid race, and then swapping over to scavengers when grabbing bricks. Having this much heavy is broken. Once again, for mods 8 and 9, we also have a combo, but each mod is also still going to be super good on its own. First up, mod number 8 is going to be Empowering Finisher. Now note, for this to be fully effective, you want to be running 2 Empowering Finishers, which is the main part of the build, and then also 1 copy of Stacks on Stacks. This makes it so that you gain 3 armor charges whenever you finish an enemy, while you don't have any charges. This is great because you can combine this with anything that consumes 3 stacks of armor charge for a finisher and utilize it endlessly because you immediately get all 3 of your stacks back. The most OP thing to use with this is going to be mod number 9, which is obviously Special Finisher. This is quite literally an infinite supply of green bricks. You get ×3 armor charge and then just spam finishers all day, every day. Not sure how this is allowed in the game, but enjoy it. Double special builds also give you increased heavy ammo drops, so if you combine this with the Heavy Ammo Finder and Scout setup, you get even more heavy. Plus, double special is just way better than running a primary and will likely make survival and even damage easier during contest mode. Lastly, for mod number 10, to give our chest piece some love, we have good old resistance mods. These are actually a good bit stronger than last season since they are all pretty cheap in general, and now they stack up to 3 times in total. 1 copy will offer a 15% damage reduction, 2 copies will offer 25% reduction, and 3 copies will offer 35%. Do note that having 3 copies of elemental-based resistance mods are not going to stack up to 3 times, they're limited to 2 for some reason, and if you do use multiple different mods, they stack multiplicatively with each other. So running something like Concussive Dampener, Arc Resist, and Sniper Resist would allow you to get up to something like 58% resistance in total to stuff like Hive Boomers. Concussive Dampener reduces your AoE damage, Melee Resist reduces your damage within 4 meters, and Sniper Resist reduces damage further than 29 meters. So these mods aren't just specific to melee attacks or sniper enemy targets either. So with all of that covered, those are 10 of the best mods we currently have in the game. Personally, I will be rocking an infinite ammo setup for most of the raid, assuming it isn't disabled because it is too broken to not be running. And then I'll also probably have a damage setup ready to go as well, which allows me to instantly hot swap to full weapon surges and maybe things like loaders and scouts as well. I will probably have recuperation and firepower on for most of the raid too, and the other mods I went over will fit into place whenever I need them. If you guys like this video and you want a part 2, let me know in the comments because there are still a ton of good mods that I didn't cover. And like I said, I do stream a ton over on my Twitch where I'll be live Friday for the day 1 raid race. And after that, working on low mans. Anyways, that's all for this video. As always, have a good one, guys. Peace.